You're here because you have some kind of health problem that you really want to resolve. Whether that deals with the gut, whether that's a hormonal issue, thyroid is huge, hormones are really a big problem, toxicity is a real major problem. We have a lot to offer for you, and I can tell you why that is. When I was young, we went on a family vacation up in the mountains. I came home sick, had no idea what it was. It was never figured out, but I felt like I had the flu 24/7, 365 days out of the year. I had vertigo so bad that I'd get nauseous and just throw up. Really athletic, and it's amazing I could do what I did because my world is just spinning every time I turned. And every time I tried to do anything. And that happened for years. I learned at a young age, though, that I started cooking because I was experimenting with different things. And I realized if I ate different than my family, I felt better. And that's really started me on a long journey. Eventually, that went away, and a lot of circumstances happened. I got directed to quit doing what I was doing for work and go to college and end up being a doctor. And we've been working with people with chronic illness for 3.5 decades now. Later in life, I ended up getting Lyme disease. Didn't know what it was, just had really high fevers. That was really all I had. My fevers would be 104 plus, spiking up from there, and that's not healthy or safe for an adult. Somebody threatened to drag me to a medical doctor if I didn't go. I hadn't been to a medical doctor in over 30 years. Hadn't taken even an aspirin over 30 years. Cursory evaluation, didn't even touch me, didn't really do much of anything other than order some tests, said, it's influenza, take some ibuprofen, I believe it was. I hadn't had even an aspirin in over 30 years. So it was strange going to some place to buy some. I got the smallest dose you could, 250 milligrams, took one pill, started to get hallucinations. I didn't like that at all. I said, I'm not doing this. And later I got the tools to figure out what was going on. Found out I had Babesia, Lyme disease, and some other things, and figured out how to resolve that. We'd already been working with people with major gut issues, autoimmune issues, and that really gave me the tools to be able to figure out how to address Lyme disease. We've been probably have one of the highest success rates that you can find anywhere in resolving people from chronic illness back to health. Recently we had a young girl, she spent 5.5 days in a research hospital doing scans, doing tests. They threw a battery of things at her. She was in so much pain she couldn't walk, she couldn't be touched. Basically she just laid in bed in this hospital. They had no idea what was really causing it. They said, maybe she's got juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, go to a rheumatologist. A family member begged the parents to get a hold of me and work with them with this child. So they got a hold of me. We evaluated this child from 1,000 miles away. In a couple of hours, we figured out what all of her issues were, what was causing all this, how to address it. That was in the evening. The next morning, she was able to get up out of bed for the first time in several days. In about 3 days, she was outside, and she wasn't totally normal, but she was on her way to doing that, and it's taking months, and she's really getting her life back. So how is it that someone, in a natural sense, a natural doctor, can have that kind of results with people consistently for 3.5 decades? It's because we've been given tools that are different than other people and more refined than other people. And I have a pretty profound understanding on how the body works. You've got to understand what's going on to be able to figure these things out. And we treat people as individuals. We don't treat conditions. We work with people to resolve whatever health conditions they have. And we've been resolving the worst nightmares out there that the best that healthcare has to offer fails at, with a consistency for 3.5 decades. So if that excites you, if you really want a direct path and see how that can change your own life, hit the link below and go through a consultation. We can talk on how that will work for you. If you need some more information, there's a ton of videos on this channel where you can look at that will give you an understanding of why we can have the results we have. Because we have a deep understanding of everything, and we can show you what that is. So we'll see you on the other side.